Right. Are you looking for a good read? Here it is, Cucina Romana. It's Andrew Cotto's second novel in the food-filled and wine-soaked Italian adventure series. This morning, Andrew is here in the studio. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. Nice to be seen by anybody, but especially you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I love your books because I feel like I'm going to Italy and I don't need a passport. I don't have to get on a plane, but you're taking me there.
That's the intention. Thanks for saying that. I mean, the idea, when I wrote both of them, particularly the second one when we were in lockdown, was to just transport people to Italy in a way through their imagination. So they take off through the pages into sort of a sensory immersion in Italy, mostly the food and wine, but also the light and the mountains and the sea, but mostly the food and wine.
But I have to tell you, I am hungry when I read your book, and I see that you did not come with a small little.
No.
Yeah.
That's a masterpiece. That's a porchetta.
This is gorgeous.
I know. It is a pork belly.
Where'd you get this from?
Angelo Compitiello, who is the king of porchetta in New York, New Jersey, in America. I think his porchetta is as good as they make in Italy. And he caters, so if anyone wants them for themselves, just contact Angelo. His information is coming across the banner, I believe.
It's beautiful. And where does that fit in Cucina Romana?
It's a big part of the book, because in both Cucina Romana and Cucina Tipica, there's like an ultimate scene at the end where all the characters get together, sort of the big night scene where they're having a massive feast. So they're eating throughout the book, of course, but there's always one big, the social event. And in this one, they are celebrating the acquisition of a hotel that allows our character to stay in Italy, and they make porchetta. They make bistecca fiorentina, but also porchetta is the star.
So we get to learn how to do that in your book.
Absolutely, and they are kind of cookbooks too. They're certainly like informational books about the regional cuisine of Tuscany and Cucina Tipica, and Rome and Lazio and Cucina Romana.
And I love that maybe we need to be armed when we read.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so what did you bring us? So
this is the Chianti from the hills near Florence, the Chianti Florentini wine. So the characters live south of Florence.
Right.
And they make a local wine that they produce. So at the big party, they're drinking this wine and eating this porchetta.
I like specific, and you can find these kind of wines here in the States, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is very accessible wine. I mean, there's tons of Chianti that makes it out of Italy. There's many beautiful Italian wines that don't see it to America's shores because there's not enough production of it. But Chianti, they make tons of, because the region is so big and so productive that we can find Chiantis. This is a $10 bottle of wine. This is like an Italian everyday wine, which goes great.
The aroma is fantastic.
Oh, of course. Everyday wine in Italy is still great wine.
I know. So I also see you brought a little bit more appetizers or
so this is how you prepare.
Something to get us going this morning.
Yeah, this became this. So the way you eat porchetta is traditionally in sandwich, in panini, right? So if you're in Rome, for instance, you might stop on the side of the road as a food truck, and they're not selling hot dogs. They're selling porchetta sandwiches.
That is hysterical.
Right? So this is Angelo's porchetta. So I chopped it up, made it into it's like shredded, like pulled pork, basically.
Right.
Topped it with his roasted peppers, his pickled onions, his Calabrian peppers, and some chicory. And there's mozzarella on the side if you choose to have mozzarella.
Beautiful. And I see you have some of the skin there too, because it is a beautiful work of art to do something like this.
Oh, this took him about 14 hours to make from beginning to end, and he cooked it overnight. Sitting there, I think on the ground next to his oven, watching it cook at a very low temperature, because the skin of the belly is scored, and then it melts as you cook it really gently. So it's basically poaching or making confit out of the belly, the meat of the belly.
So, Andrew, let me get your writing skill.
Okay.
When you go to Italy, do you go on a food tour and that inspires the story? How does this work for you?
Yeah, well, I'm a food writer, not by trade, but I love feeding people, so I started writing about food in my fiction, and then in my nonfiction. I write a lot for La Cucina Italiana magazine and Rachel Ray's magazine. I love writing about food because I think food is an important part of our lives, not just for sustenance, but for wellness. So when I'm in Italy, I think that's the epicenter where food is the most valuable. This is the character's motivation when he gets there in the first book. It's like he doesn't want to leave because the food is so good, right? So when I'm there, I'm on patrol. I am working, right? I'm looking for all the things that food does to me as a human being. It makes me happy, right?
And memories are created around every meal. When my family and I used to travel a lot, we used to actually not go around like the monuments and the sites.
Right.
It would be the restaurants, and then whatever was nearby, we would go and see.
What's that big Coliseum thing, right?
Oh, yeah, we're near the Coliseum. Let's go see the Coliseum.
I see this dome somewhere. Let's check it out after lunch, right?
After lunch.
That's sort of my idea, too. Is like I feel these characters are just killing time between meals, right? So everything else, is, that they do in the stories, and I think in my life, is like it's really just really, oriented around my next meal, because it's just special. It's church to me, right? It's communion, and it's being present, too. Like when we're eating, we are there. I mean, all this mindfulness stuff we talk about, which is very important. Food is a great way to do that, because you're immersed in it, right? When we eat this later, we're going to be right there with it.
I like that.
Yeah.
And, especially now that it's so difficult to travel, people are afraid to travel. They're concerned about COVID restrictions in Europe right now. I mean, this is a great way to kind of escape.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was sort of the intention of it, too, is the books and food, I think, are just transport people, right? And this feels like we're in Italy, right? We're in Rome right now, drinking Tuscan wine, but we're experiencing what they do in Italy every single day, and it is an escape, and it's making me happy.
It's making me happy. Andrew, how can people find you?
Oh, Andrew Cotto everywhere. Instagram.
Andrew Cotto everywhere.
At everywhere. Andrew Cotto. I have a website, andrewcotto.com, where all the links are to my Instagram, Facebook. I'm all over Twitter. I'm all over that stuff. I love connecting with writers and reaching out to them, and doing book clubs or whatever, signing books.
Are you working on a new book, or?
Yeah, I actually have a new book coming out in January called Pasta Mike. It's a novella, a posthumous tribute to my oldest and dearest friend, Mike O'Shea, who passed away, and it's really a tribute to him as a human being, but also to the power of male friendship. So it comes out in January. I wrote it during lockdown as well, after CUCINA Romana, and I'm getting ready to start the promotion on that.
Good for you.
Right.
And then where can we find this delicious porchetta?
You can find Angelo at mind_machine on Instagram, and he's now has a physical location. He is at Brick and Dough in Montclair, New Jersey. So you Jersey people are really
very lucky.
Getting a treat.
All right. Always good to talk to you, Andrew.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
All right. Good day coming right back.